questions, I believe, to answer honestly and consistently is what is truly and deeply important to you. If I was to ask you that, your minds would go like this, wouldn't they? Because lots of things are. But what's truly and deeply important to you? What would you die for? What would you change a habit for? That is something deeply and truly important. I got to reading the book of Jonah this morning and just kept going. It was almost late this morning because I really got into it. It's a great story. I'm just going to go briefly there, and then Brother Kevin is going to share his own experience. We all know this story, don't we? God calls Jonah. And in the story it says, he says, "Up, go to Nineveh and warn the people, unless they change, everything is going to fall into destruction." And what does Jonah do? It says he runs away to the city. I looked up the reference for the city, and the city was one of these places that represented the end of the earth. He's trying to get away from God. He runs. And so he gets on a boat with sailors from countries all over the world, with beliefs all over the world. He's trying to get away. He's trying to become invisible. And he thinks that he's safe. And he gets on that boat. He's exhausted. He's afraid. And he goes down underneath to sleep. Then the scriptures say that God causes a storm on the sea. And the storm is so violent that the sailors are afraid. And being from many different traditions, they pray to their gods, saying, "Someone please calm this sea down." And then one of them comes downstairs, and he becomes greatly upset because Jonah is not praying, he's sleeping. And he says, "Get up and pray to your God. Maybe we can figure this out." Jonah comes upstairs, and they ask him all these questions. "Who are you? Why are you here? Who is your God?" And Jonah says, "My God is the God of heaven and earth." And so they go, "Oh, earth, storms, this is your fault." And so they say, "Well, it's your fault. We don't know what to do." So they draw lots, and somehow Jonah gets the short end. I never quite understand how that works exactly. He gets the short end, and they say, "Well, somehow you tell us what to do." So Jonah says, "Well, I was disobedient to God. God asked me to do something, and I was too afraid I couldn't do it. So throw me in the water." But they can't throw him in the water because they want to do the right thing. And so it says that they try to row to the shore quickly. But the storm only becomes more violent. And so finally Jonah just says, "Just throw me in." So they throw Jonah in the water, and the sea becomes calm. That should be the end of the story, right? But then what happens? Some big old fish or something swallows him, catches him. And Jonah is in a holding pattern for several days. It's like a big timeout. Now, friends, timeouts aren't just for kids. They're also for us as adults. Because sometimes you and I need to be swallowed by a big fish and to take some time out to remember what is truly, deeply important, as well as what is involved in that. Yes, we believe. It's our unbelief that we need to work on. Jonah's sitting there 3 days, whatever it was. And then when he thinks he's all over, God spits him out and says, then it takes up again. So now go to Nineveh and do the thing. So he goes very dutifully. End of the story? Church? No. He goes and he preaches and he's ready for hail, fire, and brimstone. He's so effective that what happens? They hear it. They start acting. They convert. From the animals all the way up to the king. And then Jonah should be happy. But Jonah's upset, isn't he? That's not how it was supposed to go down. I was on the sea, swallowed by a fish, and these people just get off easy. Jonah is upset. He wants justice. Is that ever us? I've done my due diligence. I want justice now. Friends, God's justice does not work that way. Because God, unlike ourselves, is always concerned with the things in life that are deeply, truly important. And then the scriptures say that through a series of events, God conveys that to Jonah. And the scripture is all about what? Large fish? No. It's about a very simple reality that you and I forget because we're so darn used to it, that we're immune to it. God is love. Always. God is love. Always. That's what Paul was trying to talk about. He's invited in to deal with questions. And he's just saying, be faithful. That whole gospel is about be faithful to whatever your call is, be faithful. And sometimes in order to be faithful, we have to struggle. So struggle. But struggle faithfully. What's the gospel about? John the Baptist, because he was so faithful, lost his life. And I love Mark's gospel because things just happen, don't they? Don't have a lot of time to think about him. John appears, Jesus appears, and all of a sudden he's full of the Spirit. And what is he doing? He's looking at the potential in people and he says, come follow me. Come follow me. Are you too old, Norbert? No, you're not too old. Come follow me. Come follow me. Might be too tired, but not too old. Might not be able to walk so well, but not too old. God calls us all to follow, but we have to digest it. Discipleship isn't just about the happy moments. It's about those storms. It's about growing roots and going back to places where we first received belief. So is there something in our life that is truly important that we're ignoring? Stop. Wake up and pay attention.